Hello and welcome back to Advanced Hwoarang Lessons. We can't stop covering mids. From while standing 3 to while standing 3 plus 4-3 or CD 3 plus 4-3 as that was the input in the command list in previous Tekkens, aside from Tekken 7 because it's just not there. We need to cover the other one. Yes, this move. The Flying Eagle 3-4. More on it soon. So of course, the Flying Eagle is only doable in LFF. You can only press this move in LFF because the moment you're in RFF, you get access to backlash. As you can see, it is 32 damage and pops up at 20 plus frames. 22 frames to be exact. So it's also -3, so this makes it really, really good to just like, you can just throw it out there. It's the same thing with while standing 3. You can just throw it out there. It's the same thing with while standing 3 plus 4-3. You can just, where's while standing 2? You can just throw it out there. All these mids, they're just safe. However, while standing 3 has very good tracking. So again, if you stand guard and you have them step left, let's say I do down back 3 into while standing 3. Flips. If I do down back 3 into while standing 3 plus 4, does not flip. However, while standing 3 plus 4-3 plus while standing 3 plus 4-3 by itself, good tracking. Because the second hit, pretty much guaranteed they hit. But trying to get it to hit in a after down back 3 is a no-go. So for as long as you're using the move by itself, it's great. And it catches a certain side. Unlike this amazing pseudo homing while standing 3. So the question is, does Flying Eagle cover that as well? The answer to that is surprisingly no. So here, we're going to do a jab into Flying Eagle. So Hwoarang's going to have 1 frame of advantage here, and the opposing Hwoarang is going to be -1. But that means they still have room to move. But some characters are able to catch you, like lock you in with like a DF1 or whatever their 13 or 14 frame mid is. But since this is 20 frames, that's not going to hit. You see, only the first hit hits and then the second hit doesn't connect. They did say they fixed this in previous patches, but never really got addressed. And it's not even consistent. So that's against sidestep left. How about against sidestep right? Okay, no dice. Sidewalk left. All the more, it's getting evaded. And Hwoarang only has an average step compared to the other characters who have superior movement. Zafina, Kunimitsu, Miguel, etc, etc, etc. So if you're playing against those characters, all the more this move's gonna whiff. Of course, that's for +1, right? Let's say we increase the number. What if we make it +5, right? LFS1 puts Hwoarang at +5 and transitions him back to LFF. Okay, so let's see if it tracks there. Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no tracking on this move. This is none. The tracking is 0, nada, blank. So, no matter how plus you are, be careful when you throw this move out. But if it is when it comes to approaching, because you can mix the approach with a lot of things, right? You can mix it with down back 3, you can mix it with your down 3-4, your down back 4, your peacekeeper, while standing 4, your while standing 3, your while standing 3 plus 4-3. So you just have another mid to add into the mix, which is great. It keeps your opponent on their toes and they don't know exactly which move is going to be coming out. And they're less inclined to step because there are other stuff that are really catching you there. And, on top of the realignment of it. So you're already realigning. These moves already catch them anyway. So all the more Flying Eagle has a higher probability of hitting them. But of course, it doesn't mean it won't get stepped from time to time. It will. You just gotta keep track of how your opponent's dealing with your approach. Now, of course, you can get floated if you do Flying Eagle. So I have Hwoarang recorded here with Flying Eagle. So if the opponent interrupts you fast enough, or at the right moment, instead of what I did earlier, which is preventing Hwoarang from doing it, you are going to get launched. So that's a late trade. This is the bout right. And you get fully floated for it, which is a little bit risky compared to, let's say, while standing 3 or while standing 3 plus 4-3. Because that one you just get hit. That one's going to turn to extra damage into Oki. Speaking of Oki, Flying Eagle does present some pretty good Oki. On hit, its Oki is pretty good. You can waifu in. You can waifu into Flamingo, or just straight up enter Flamingo and say, hey, let's play the 50-50 wake up game. If those aren't your jazz, you can always just go dash in RFF. Essentially, the whole playing field, the entire command list is you can do everything. I say that with confidence because on hit, the Oki is essentially the same as when you do it in a combo. So this is, you can do it as an ender, and you have all the time in the world to set up whatever you want to do. It's really good Oki. And again, this Oki was like covered in Open Hwoarang lessons. I'll put the thumbnail here and then the link in the description below so you can check it out on like how the Okizeme works. Now, aside from it having really good Oki as a combo ender and on hit, it's also a combo extender. Let's say you want to like, you want to add some spice to your combo, right? How about throw a Flying Eagle there? And then another Flying Eagle, and then Oki. I mean, choice is yours. You can also do it off back 3, Flying Eagle, 1, 2, and then Flying Eagle again. So it is good filler. It is also a good filler with decent enough damage. And the carry on it is surprisingly good. Like if you do it for the Season 1 B&B, FF4, instead of doing RFF forward 3 into LFS of forward 3 plus 4, if you're not up there yet, if you don't have the execution, this is a budget wall carry option that you can do instead of doing like a budget flashing trident and up forward 3 plus 4. So it does, and it's gonna splat properly, and then you can get the down 3-4 or RFF forward 3, LFS forward 3, stuff like that. It's great. It's beginner friendly. Flying Eagle. It's telling you to press 3-4 all the time. Every time in combos, and when you approach, when you check your opponent, and checking your opponent is very strong with this move. So you like when you approach, you want to see if your opponent is how they're dealing with guys. They're blocking and whatnot. And then if they're ducking, JFSR is gonna go in or the Flying Eagle is gonna go in on hit. You get the Oki. But if it blocks, so I have an option recorded here. I'm pretty sure you saw it earlier when I was attempting to float Hwoarang. Typically, one of the reactions versus Flying Eagle is that the opponent checks. And that's what happens. They get punished. Now, the punish indicator is a little bit below me, but you can see it there. Now, if the opponent reacts really, really fast, you can't, backdash. If they jab or they throw out their 13-frame mid immediately. But if they are a second late in hesitating or like second-guessing themselves on what they want to do, they will lose to Flying Eagle. But not unless their mid is really, really long, right? Like, I've been beating Hwoarang here way too many times. Not that I mean to beat him. I actually want to lose there. So, if that's the case, if you're losing it to it like that, remember, forward 2 is -2 on block, and Flying Eagle's -3, which means you can do pretty much the same thing. You can sidestep into a DF2, or sidestep into a small whiff punish. So, let's say they throw out the DF1 there. Whoa. Is my recording wrong? No, it's right there. It's perfect. There you go. There's the punish. That will happen. But of course, make sure your step is clean. It looks like my recording step isn't clean enough. But you can step certain options. It's the same thing as the -2 situation on block. You can step 1-2, step DF2, depending on like what option your opponent is hitting you with. And you can check that immediately with like the backdash. So if you 3-4 backdash and wait for it, you can be like, okay, that's how they don't want to deal with me. So I'm gonna reply this way. And of course, if they're interrupting you immediately there, remember, you're -3. So if you want to interrupt their 13-frame mid, the only thing you can really do is down jab. And you'll trade at best because that's going to become a 13-frame down jab versus a 13-frame mid 10-frame. You should lose, right? I'm trying to do the math in my head right now. I think the best way to do it is just to record it. Let me find it out right now. Boop, boop. And then I need the down jab. Oh, okay. No. Yeah, you win. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing you want to do. I did forget to mention that it does low crush. It's pretty good in the approach as well. So if I do a down back 4 right after the jab, it should low crush immediately. Really fast. Very, very reliable low crush for Hwoarang. So if you think your opponent's gonna do a down 4 to stop your approach, or like they're gonna do some big low, whatever, you can just Flying Eagle sometimes. In the wall, the situations apply. It's the same thing. You can backdash into a CD3 to get the wall bounce. You can sidestep into JFSR, sidestep DF1-3 to maintain wall pressure, sidestep 1-2. Unfortunately, you don't really have like a sidestep wall splat, so the most you can do is like sidestep DF4. And if it does counter hit, since they're pressing a button, they're gonna splat. Or of course, you Flying Eagle into another Flying Eagle. That is completely possible. I mean, the choice is yours. Feel free to explore it. This was just a brief overview on like how Flying Eagle works and what it does for Hwoarang. On paper, Again, end screen's gonna have, I don't know, one of the other advanced Hwoarang lessons here. And that's been the cheese for today. See you all in the next advanced Hwoarang lesson.